10 years. That is all it takes to lose almost $300,000. Not from a bad investment, not from a scam, just from waiting. You told yourself you would start investing later, when you made more, when you felt ready, when life calmed down. But compound interest does not wait for you to feel ready. It rewards the people who start before they are comfortable. And the gap between starting at 25 and starting at 35 is not small. It is life-changing. Today, you are going to see the real math, and it is going to make you angry that nobody showed you this sooner. Here is what most people believe. They believe that if they miss a few years of investing, they can just put in more money later and catch up. It sounds logical, it feels right, but it is completely wrong. Compound interest does not grow in a straight line. It grows in a curve, a slow, quiet curve at first, then a steep, explosive curve at the end. The money you invest in your 20s has 40 years to compound. It doubles, then doubles again, then doubles again. The money you invest in your 30s only has 30 years. That is one less doubling cycle. And in compound interest, each doubling is bigger than all the ones before it combined, according to J.P. Morgan's retirement research. Investors who contributed between ages 25 and 35 and then stopped ended up with more money at 65 than investors who started at 35 and contributed every single year until retirement. Read that again. The person who quit early won. That is the power of starting first. So let's break down how compound interest actually works. Because once you see it, you will never look at your money the same way. When you invest money, it earns a return. Let's say 10% a year. That is roughly the historical average of the stock market over the last 100 years, adjusted for ups and downs. In year one, you put in $1,000. By the end of the year, you have earned $100. Not exciting, but here is where it shifts. In year two, you earn interest on $1,100, not just your original $1,000. You earned $110 in year two. That extra $10 came from the interest, earning its own interest. By year 10, your original $1,000 has become roughly $2,600. You did not add another dollar. Your money just kept multiplying on top of itself. By year 20, that same $1,000 has grown to about $6,700. By year 30, roughly $17,400. And by year 40, that single $1,000 becomes about $45,000. The first 10 years added $1,600. The last 10 years added almost $28,000. Same investment, same return. But 75% of your total wealth was built in the final quarter of the journey. That is the curve. That is why starting early matters more than starting big. Those early dollars have the most time to ride the entire curve. Every year you wait, you are not just losing that year's return. You are losing every future return that money would have generated for decades. Now let's make it real. Let's say you start investing $200 a month at age 25. That is $50 a week, less than most people spend on eating out. You earn an average annual return of 10%. At age 30, after 5 years, you have put in $12,000 of your own money, but your account is worth about $15,600. Not bad. At age 35, after 10 years, you have contributed $24,000 total. Your account has grown to roughly $41,000. The interest is starting to do real work. At age 45, after 20 years, you have contributed $48,000. Your account is now worth about $153,000. You tripled your contributions. But you did not do anything different. The curve is just getting steeper. At age 55, after 30 years, you have put in $72,000. Your account is worth approximately $395,000. And at age 65, after 40 years of $200 a month, you have invested $96,000 of your own money. Your account balance, roughly $524,000. Over $428,000 of that is pure growth. Money that made itself while you slept, worked, lived your life. Now, here is the gut punch. Imagine you did the exact same thing. Same $200 a month, same 10% return, same strategy, but you started at 35 instead of 25. At age 65, after 30 years, your account is worth about $227,000. You still did great, but compare that number. $524,000 versus $227,000. That is a $297,000 difference. You invested $72,000 at the 35 start versus $96,000 at the 25 start. So the difference in what you contributed is only $24,000, but the difference in what you ended up with is almost $300,000. That extra $24,000 you invested early turned into $297,000. That is the price of 10 years. That is what waiting costs. Now ask yourself this. Why did nobody show you that math in school? Why did nobody sit you down at 18 and say, start now? Because the system does not make money when you invest early and leave it alone. The financial industry profits from activity, from you moving money around, from fees, transactions, and emotional decisions. Mutual fund companies charge management fees every year. According to Morningstar, the average actively managed fund charges about 0.66% annually. That sounds small, but over 40 years on a $500,000 account, that is over $130,000 in fees. Credit card companies want you spending, not saving. Every dollar you invest at 25 is a dollar that is not generating 24% interest for them. Retailers want you buying now. Financing companies want you making payments. The entire consumer economy is built around you spending your paycheck the week you earn it. Nobody in that system benefits from you quietly putting $200 a month into an index fund and ignoring it for 40 years. That is boring. That does not generate commissions. That does not sell products. But it is the single most reliable way to build wealth that has ever existed. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. It is designed to keep your money moving through other people's hands, instead of compounding in yours. The biggest objection you have right now is this. You do not have $200 a month. You can barely cover your bills. Your student loans are not paid off. Your car needs work. You feel like investing is something for people who already have money. And that feeling is valid, but it is also the exact lie that keeps the gap growing, because the math works at $50 a month too. At $50 a month starting at age 25 with 10% average returns. You have roughly $131,000 by age 65. That is from contributing just $24,000 over 40 years. Start that same $50 at 35. You end up with about $57,000, still a $74,000 gap, still massive. The amount matters less than the start date, so here is your 3-step plan. Step 1, open a retirement account this week. Most brokerages let you start with $0 and no minimum. It takes about 15 minutes. Step 2, set up an automatic transfer, even $25 every paycheck. Automate it so you never have to think about it. You will adjust to the smaller paycheck within 1 month. Step 3, choose one broad market index fund with low fees, something that tracks the total stock market. Do not pick individual stocks. Do not try to time the market. Just buy the same fund every single paycheck and do not touch it. That is it. That is the whole strategy. It is not exciting. It will not make you rich next month. But in 10 years, you will look back at this moment and thank yourself for starting. 2 people, both 25 years old, both making $45,000 a year. Same city, same rent, same student loan balance. Person A hears about investing but thinks she will start later. She figures she has time. She spends her 20s paying bills and treating herself when she can. At 35, she finally opens a retirement account and starts putting in $200 a month. She is disciplined. She never misses a payment for 30 straight years. Person B hears the same advice, but she starts immediately. At 25, she sets up $200 a month on autopilot. She does not make more money. She just adjusts her budget. She eats out a little less. She skips one subscription. She keeps it going for 40 years. At age 65, person A has invested $72,000 of her own money. Her account is worth roughly $227,000. She can retire, but it will be tight. She will watch every dollar. Person B has invested $96,000. That is only $24,000 more out of pocket over a lifetime, but her account is worth roughly $524,000. She has options. She has freedom. She does not have to depend on anyone. The only difference between them was not talent. It was not income. It was not luck. It was 10 years. Person B started 10 years earlier. That is the entire story. Maybe you are 25 and this is your sign to start today. Maybe you are 35 and you are thinking you missed your window. You did not. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Every single dollar you invest today has more time than every dollar you invest tomorrow. This is not your fault. Nobody taught you this. But starting today, you know, and knowing changes everything. You are not someone who puts it off anymore. You are someone who started.